my friend is like, hey, I went to my chiropractor and I saw in the reception area that you can be helped with headaches through chiropractic headaches. And I was like, oh, okay. I had no idea. So made myself an appointment, I'm in my early 20s, and I went to a chiropractor. And first time there, I got my x-rays, and he's like, did you know you have a scoliosis? And I was like, oh, yes, I knew. And he's like, well, what have you done for it? And I'm like, I do PT and massage, and I take Excedrin, and, but that's for my headaches. So anyway, I explained the whole chain to me that my headaches are probably a result of my spine and my scoliosis. So I got adjusted. And the first time I got adjusted, I walked out of the chiropractic clinic, like literally not even having any low back pain anymore. And I just grew up with that. So I thought it was literally normal to have this pain. And when I walked out of there, I just felt like this miracle happened. I felt like I was literally walking on clouds. It was like a huge difference in just my, my whole attitude, how I felt.
Welcome to the Miracle Academy. This is your host, Scotty Cooper, and this is where miracles are expected. Welcome to the Miracle Academy podcast. This is your host, Scotty Cooper. Today I have a special guest and one of my mentors, Dr. Leah Meadows. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Scotty. Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
Awesome. So Dr. Leah is a chiropractic rock star, and like I said, she's one of my coaches, so she's the one that trains me. And she's just super awesome and just a wealth of knowledge. So I figured it'd be fun to have you on the podcast. So
cool. I'm excited.
Awesome. So Dr. Leah, do you mind kind of sharing your story of how you got into chiropractic and kind of how you've grown to where you're at now?
I would love to. So growing up, I grew up in Canada. A little different healthcare. I really didn't know anything about chiropractors, what they were, even the name, chiropractic. And I always had back pain growing up, but I didn't ever really verbalize it. I just thought it was something normal. And so I was a ballet dancer. I danced 4 days a week. And my ballet teacher noticed something wrong with my spine. So she told my mom that they should take me to a doctor to see if, what was going on. So I go to the doctor and they diagnosed me with a scoliosis. And then from there, they sent me to an orthopedic surgeon. And really what they did for me for my scoliosis was pretty much nothing except for, evaluate me every year, every 6 months for an x-ray. And then by the time I was 13, they wanted to put me in a back brace and send me to school that way. And I thought, 13-year-old girl, that was definitely social suicide. To like the back braces now are nice and sleek and underneath your clothing if you need to do spinal remodeling, but back then they weren't. So we made a plan that I was going to continue with, I was doing physical therapy and I did some massage, and that's what I was going to do, and continue with dance because ballet is really, good for your posture and good for your flexibility and your muscle strength. So I did that. And then I decided I was going to, when I went to university, I was still having this back pain, which I thought was totally normal, but I started to get headaches when I was about 14 years old. And the only way for me to manage them was I was taking Advil, then I was taking Excedrin, then I was taking, in Canada, we can do a 222, it's over-the-counter Tylenol with codeine. And I was taking that just to try to manage these headaches. So same thing. I thought it was just like a whatever, get headaches. And that's what it was. Well, anyway, now I'm going to undergrad. I'm almost finished my Bachelor of Science degree. I'm doing a applications to dental school, which is all like Bachelor of Science. So did that, but I was getting such bad headaches that my friend is like, hey, I went to my chiropractor and I saw in the reception area that you can be helped with headaches through chiropractic headaches. And I was like, oh, okay. I had no idea. So made myself an appointment, I'm in my early 20s, and I went to a chiropractor. And first time there, I got my x-rays, and he's like, did you know you have a scoliosis? And I was like, oh, yes, I knew. And he's like, well, what have you done for it? And I'm like, I do PT and massage, and I take Excedrin, and, but that's for my headaches. So anyway, I explained the whole chain to me that my headaches were probably a result of my spine and my scoliosis. So I got adjusted. And the first time I got adjusted, I walked out of the chiropractic clinic, like literally not even having any low back pain anymore. And I just grew up with that. So I thought it was literally normal to have this pain. And when I walked out of there, I just felt like this miracle happened. I felt like I was literally walking on clouds. It was like a huge difference in just my, my whole attitude, how I felt. And then within a couple of weeks, my headaches were gone. So to me, that was like a life-changing event, not only for my health, but also for my future career. And that's when I decided I was going to go to chiropractic school. So instead of my dental school, totally changed careers. And that's how it all started. So for me, it was like that, me being a patient, never knowing about chiropractic, my doctor not telling me, the orthopedic surgeon not telling me, and just a friend saying, hey, chiropractic can help with headaches. You should go.
Wow. That's amazing. That's really cool to have such a life-changing event from something like that.
Yeah. Yes. Because the headaches were getting debilitating. By the time I was in college, I just, if I had to sit at a movie or, stand in line for something, it just got worse and worse. And you don't want to be taking, prescription medication when you're in college or ever really to manage headaches, because that's all I was doing.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. So, so how have you now transitioned to your life now after having this life-changing event and really making this your calling? Where have you kind of progressed to at this point?
Yes. Good question. So I love that question because, so fast forward, I went to chiropractic school, left Canada, went down to Portland, Oregon, and met my husband in chiropractic school. So we're very much like-minded with a health mindset, lifestyle. Chiropractic. We started a chiropractic practice together, which was super fun. So we get to work together. But about, I have a 12 and a 14-year-old. And so maybe about 10 years ago, I started feeling really run down. And I've always been good at managing my output levels, like getting enough sleep, making sure I eat healthy, doing all these things, because I was kind of a sick kid. Like the scoliosis didn't just affect my back and my neck, but just overall my immunity and my health. So I'd always been making sure that I really took care of myself. So now 10 years into owning a business together, and it is a very successful chiropractic practice. We love what we do. We put all of our heart and soul into it. But I was getting run down where we just couldn't figure out what was going on. So finally, I was sent to the right provider. It took a while to find the right person. And then I was diagnosed with Lyme disease. And the Lyme disease had started back in college from, this tick bite that we knew when it happened. I went to emergency room, but they didn't know what it was. So because of my healthy lifestyle, sort of maintained my health. But after having 2 kids and a busy practice and really just not taking care of myself as much as I needed to, then everything sort of just spiraled downhill because I was just on that fast track, build, having lots of fun, but not really taking enough time. So what happened was I really hit rock bottom. And then when we found out this was a Lyme diagnosis, I went to the right provider, really got the right type of treatment. And then I realized I needed to take off. Like my mentor said to me, listen, when this happens, you can't just sort of delegate a month or 2 to try to get healthy. It's going to be a 6-month time frame. You need to step away for 6 months and just focus on yourself. And I did that. And he's like, if it's not 6 months, then it goes to another 6 months. So I did that. And when I did that, I realized that my office could run successfully without me there because I'm doing, at this point, more of the business operations. I really do the mentoring for my team. And I also realized too that I could put more emphasis on, I wanted to see my kids more, So in that turn of events, I really started doing a lot more coaching and training for the business development of chiropractic so that offices like your office, like my office, and lots of offices across the country, I could help those people spread the word of chiropractic. That way, reaching more and more people, just like me, that really didn't know maybe their sinus problems, their sciatic pain, their, shoulder issues could be helped with chiropractic. So that's my big why. Like, I just want to help more people get into chiropractic offices that otherwise are suffering, from these ailments that they don't know how to fix, or they've gone down the road of, I just have to live with it. So.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Thank you.
So what is that, now that you kind of get to do that and you get to be able to spend more time with your kids and you get to do this, which is, you feel like is your calling, what has that done for you emotionally to be able to step into that role now?
Well, it's been like super rewarding because I love working with people to help them with their practice so that they can, like I said, so they can reach more of the general public, people that don't know about chiropractic. But, when I see other doctors, okay, so I guess we should explain, like, when you're a chiropractor and when you're in this health profession, you really just, it all comes from your heart for the most part. So you want to serve these patients in front of you. And what happens sometimes, a lot of times, and especially if you're a woman, it could be if you're a man too, but we are like the giver, the caregiver. We just want to give. And then oftentimes we get depleted. So we're not doing what we need to do for ourselves in order to keep that high level of vibration. And in that, this is when we can get an illness, or we can feel like we're not really on purpose anymore. We're not in alignment with what we're doing. So I've made sure that through this energetic alignment technique, and that's really what I teach, so that we can have our mind, our body, our heart, all of our spirit in alignment, and just be the best that we can be. So really for me, started with making sure I have this great morning routine where I'm meditating, where I'm taking some time to either journal or read or educate, and I'm doing some type of exercise as well. But just putting the emphasis on getting that in the morning and setting off my day to be productive, but have enough space so that there's creativity there as well, and room just for the fun things to happen in life too.
Nice. Yeah, that's really important. I feel like for me, I've been realizing more and more, I've been seeing a lot of moms that kind of that need to find how to do that. And I think that's really important that you're able to find it and be able to do very well with that.
Thank you. Yeah. And, and when you say moms, it did start with about a decade ago, I founded a chiropractic marketing company. And this is for chiropractors that they want to see, they're seeing their patients, they're treating patients. They often don't have time to go in and do speaking. Now we do a lot of things over Zoom. So I would train their team, and it was a community outreach person. And usually it was like a female, 20s, 30s, they'd go out and meet the public. And I realized, wow, if those people really, if you can start, in your 20s or in your 30s, before you're having kids, before you're already going and you learn these techniques, then you really set the foundation for success, both personally and professionally as well. So that's why I really like to work with people and helping them in all areas of their lives.
Yeah, that's cool. So one of the other techniques that I really like that you taught me, I don't know if you mind sharing it, the objection handling cycle. It's something that you taught me. If you could quickly kind of review that, but like I found that after you taught me that, I use it almost every day.
Nice.
Like so many different situations.
Yeah.
But do you mind sharing that and how that?
No, I'd love to. So, and we can share it really quick, but the training on it is usually like an hour training. Then we make sure but this is, it's just a way to make sure that you're connecting with the person that has an objection. So if it could be used in customer service. It could be used in, hey, I've seen a chiropractor, it didn't work for me, that kind of thing. So it clears the air before these problems come up oftentimes. So, and I really love it too, because once you start using this, it just kind of paves the way to make things more easy with less roadblocks for you. Mm-hmm. So the first thing that you're going to do is let's just say someone has a complaint, and they say, well, you know what? Let's use, what should we use? You want to throw me out an example?
Let me think of one that I You know, I don't have time to get to, I don't have time to get to the office to get adjusted.
Oh, okay. So Scotty's objection is that he doesn't have time to go to the office to get adjusted. Okay. You can use the same thing for, I don't have time to go to the gym, right? We hear
Right.
that all the time. So similar. So if you don't have time, what I'm going to say is, if I didn't know how to do this objection handling cycle, I would say, oh, Scotty, you need to make time for yourself. If you don't make time for yourself, how are you ever going to get healthy, right? So what that does is that's just combative. That's just him telling me something and me saying, no, you can do it this way. But
Right.
instead, what Scotty's going to say is, I don't have time to come to the office to get adjusted. And I'll say, the first thing I'm going to do is acknowledge him. Okay.
Mhm.
I learned this when I learned how the acknowledgement, how important it is. This will just, like, if you're married, this will even make your marriage better. I feel like it did. So if Scotty says he cannot come into the office because he needs to, he's too busy to get adjusted, I'll say, oh, Scotty, you know what? I am so sorry to hear that. So you can use a negative acknowledgement. I am so sorry to hear that you're too busy to get adjusted. So I'm just going to basically repeat back to him what he said to me.
Mhm.
Easy. And then the second step is, when you say that you're too busy, I'll say, well, tell me, you know, what you're too busy with. So now I'm going to investigate what's going on.
Mm.
I'm not just going to give him some type of reason why he needs to come in and how he's not busy, because I don't know. You know, maybe Scotty is working the entire time that our office is open. So I'll say, oh, tell me what you're busy with. And Scotty will say, I've got work and I work. And I'll say, Scotty, okay, so now I did a little investigation, and then I'm going to reframe the situation. I'll say, well, Scotty, what time do you work from? And he'll say, what time do you work, Scotty?
Yeah, about 6:30.
6:30. Oh, you know what, Scotty? That's great, because our office actually is set up for people that work with your schedule. So our last appointment is actually at 6:45. We even have 7 p.m. for like a VIP appointment. Does that work for you? And you'll say, yeah, that works great. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and get you scheduled for our 7 p.m. appointment. So now what I've done is I've done the assumptive close. I realized that with Scotty, he actually didn't even know that our office is open and our appointment schedule exceeds the hours that he's working.
Yeah.
And so now we do. So I love this acknowledge, investigate, reposition, and then the assumptive close. You just say, right, what you're trying to make sure happens is, I know Scotty needs to come into appointments, so I'm going to make sure that he gets on our schedule.
Mm.
So this works great with, especially like if you've ever felt like you called in maybe customer service for something, and you've gotten, I don't know, we got a shelf delivered the other day. We didn't have all the pieces of it. But if I get on the phone saying that we had this delivered, and they start telling me, oh, it is already delivered. But my point is that it's not been all delivered. But, you know, sometimes you get on the phone with customer service and they're trying to answer your question before they even know what's going on. And
Right.
that's what we don't want to do for people. We don't want to give them a solution until we've acknowledged and we've investigated with them. And that's the key piece that people miss a lot. And so then it becomes like, oh, it's either you're right or I'm right. And it's not that. It's like, we're on the same team here to try and find the answer.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. And like I said, I use it constantly. I used it yesterday. I used it the day before. Like I try to, like, whenever I see now like a perceived circumstance that could be like a roadblock, now it's like, okay, well, now I'm equipped with the techniques and tools to maneuver around it and be able to get my desired outcome I truly seek.
Awesome. Good. Well, you are a good student too. So let's make sure that you're acknowledged that way for sure.
Thank you.
You use the material, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. So one of my other questions for you is, what has been like your favorite miracle maybe in your office that you've seen with a practice member that you've been able to help?
Oh, that's a great question. So there's been a lot. I've been in practice 20 years. So this one I'm going to start from the beginning. It's a miracle story because we do a lot of community outreach, and that's just because basically, like my story, I feel like we need to get more information into to the public. So say we were at this, we had a booth at a big outdoor movie event screening, and we had this woman come up to us. We do free massages. We charge $20 for them to come into the office. They put down $20, hold your spot, and then you can come in for an appointment. So it's a very low barrier to coming in to see us, just to get started and decide if chiropractic's right for you. So this woman literally didn't have $20. So she had to go and borrow the $20. She scheduled her appointment, but she was asking me, the appointment was for her son because he was about 10 years old. And during her pregnancy, he was in utero having seizures. So this kid had so many seizures, 50 to 100 small seizures a day. He couldn't, and now he's 10 years old. He could barely talk. Mm-hmm. So she gives us $20. She makes the appointment. She lives pretty far away. And she brings the kid in. His name's Johnny. He gets adjusted. His second appointment, we do all the x-rays. We find serious subluxations in his neck. Okay. So he starts getting adjusted. After his very first adjustment, they come back, and in the adjusting area, and there's lots of people in there. It's an open area. She starts crying, and she's like, "Dr. Leah, this is what happened." And I thought she was like upset that something happened after the first adjustment, but she was there. She said that he actually started speaking, and he had only maybe like 10 words in his vocabulary prior to, and now literally his vocabulary was just like unlocked. So now this child comes in, and it's probably been about 3 or 4 years. He comes in for his wellness adjustments, and he just is like the biggest talker. He will talk to everyone all around him. He's always, he interrupts the doctors while they're adjusting other patients because he's so excited to talk. But imagine living like that, where there's just this blockage from your with your verbal skills because of a subluxation coming from your brain down your spinal cord. So that was a big, to me, that was amazing because, and we have miracles like that in the office. There's so many people, but right. I really love the fact that we met this woman at an event. We put ourselves out there because we want to meet the general public, people that would maybe never even know about chiropractic. And there we are having a booth for free information and a free massage. Come up and meet us, and that's a very low barrier for people. Yeah. So that was really fun for me to see that come full circle.
Nice. What was that mom like after she cried and kind of said that to you? What was her experience?
I mean, she tears up still talking about it. And for her, that was a major change in their family life, in their life, and the future of her child. I mean, this kid had been like almost like on lockdown until this happened. So
yeah, that's cool. Nice. Is there anything else you feel like the people watching this should know, either about you or your practice or kind of your story, that you think would be helpful for them?
I would say that if you feel like, especially for women that are in a position where sometimes you feel like you're taking care of everyone, just make sure that you really dial down and understand that in order to take care of other people, you have to take care of yourself first, because that's so important. And whether or not you, it's just picking up the phone and making that appointment to see a chiropractor. Maybe you've never seen a chiropractor before. Maybe you're starting your exercise program. Maybe you're just starting 5 minutes of meditation a day, just scheduling that 5 minutes or getting up 15 minutes early to put some time in for you. I think that's the most important thing that women can do right now is just put some, and men too, like for all of us, but really making sure there's so much going on and life can be so stressful right now, but that we just take that moment, that pause in our day to be able to quiet the noise. And so when we quiet the noise and when we meditate and we take the time, then that really sets us up for alignment to be on that higher vibrational tone scale so that the good things can happen to us and we can be led in the right direction. Because even for me, I had all of these, I knew so many healthcare providers and I didn't have the proper diagnosis yet to get better. And then when I started meditating and opening up and spending time just, having that space, creating that not the physical space, that emotional space, then things started lining up. Then I started going to the right providers. So I would just encourage everyone to make that time for themselves.
That's awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. And so for people that want to follow you or hear more of your story, what's the best way for them to follow you, like on social media?
Social media, Dr. Leah Meadows, Facebook or Instagram is easy, or drleahmeadows.com.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for being on the Miracle Academy podcast. I appreciate it. You did awesome.
Thank you, Scotty.
Awesome. Thank you. So, like I said, this is Scotty Cooper with the Miracle Academy podcast. Thank you so much for watching.